everyone, it's Sharana from Payorwait. Today I'm going to be reviewing and recapping Succession, Season 4, Episode 2, Rehearsal. I'm so happy that Connor read everybody fulfilled at the end of this episode so we can finally get into the nitty-gritty that you guys make these decisions because you want the love and attention of your father, something that he's never really given to you. Yes, Connor, for the obvious read of the entire series, all right? So I'm happy that we're finally getting into the nitty-gritty. But the episode opens up with Logan. He's on his way to ATN. He's with his trusted friend, advisor, and assistant. I'm so sorry, Gary. They're on their way to ATN. I think it's pretty clear at this point that he's trying to beef up ATN. He's trying to make them more notable, more respected, because he's trying to go in competition against his kids who have required PGM from the Pierce family. That's just my assumption, but I know I'm right, okay? So, a lot of people thought that he was going to kind of spin off ATN, get rid of it after this whole deal with Mattson went through. But now it doesn't seem that he's actually going to do that. As he had his little birthday revelation watching the news, I think that he actually wants to make the ATN brand become more respectable again. So, we see that during the course of this episode, they're still preparing for the deal with Mattson, which is supposed to take place. The board vote is supposed to happen the next day. We see Mattson asking for crazy things, like he wants to do a signature. He wants to do a picture for their signature. And Logan's like, why do I need to take a picture with this man? What we doing all that for? Okay, let's just do this sale and let's get it over with. Like, why are we doing all this extra stuff? But when Hugo and Jerry was in the office and they were laughing at Carrie's audition tape, baby, when he told him, go ahead and use your computer. And I was like, what were they watching? And then when he tried to hurry up and take Carrie's audition tape off the thing real quick. He was not happy at all, okay? But what I didn't understand is, why did he have more smoke for Jerry than Hugo? I was kind of confused about that. So before he leaves, getting upset, because at this point, everyone's been making fun of Carrie this entire time. And I guess since that's his mistress, I mean, they ain't confirmed that that's his mistress, but that's his mistress. Like, y'all can't tell me nothing else. But I think he feels like almost like everybody's laughing at him too, because like you're trying to convince Sid and Tom to like get Carrie on the news, and everybody's just looking like, sir, no, did you not watch this tape? Like, there's no way you could have watched it. Not you, not smart Logan. You could not have watched this tape and said, put this girl on air. Like, it don't even make sense, especially for what you're trying to do. So he told Hugo, he was like, hey, it looks like we need to talk to the board for an independent director because he's concerned about the board. So he was like, I need you to put your lipstick on and suck them off. I said, the way that he be dragging people, I just can't do it. So Logan next time, like, hey, what do you think about Carrie? And he kind of looking at him like, like, maybe she just needs a little bit more time. Like, maybe she's too raw. Like, maybe she needs, is she sure she want to do this? And then I think Logan's kind of like convinced that Carrie's bad at this point. He's like, you might be right. You just might be right, okay? So let's talk about Tom, because, wow, I can't believe that Tom is actually getting his hands dirty with this divorce with Shiv. But first, he gets a phone call from Greg, basically letting him know that Logan's at ATN, and he's walking around the floor with his sunglasses on. But he ends up getting a call from Shiv after she gets her phone call, letting her know that like all these top divorce attorneys, they're saying they have a conflict of interest. And so she was like, I'm sorry, like, does dad want to marry you now? Like, why are you guys working together? What's going on? Tom tries to deny it, but of course we hear as he's walking out to his car at the beginning of the episode where he says to his assistant, like, hey, like, did you go ahead and call a list of those names that Mr. Roy's office sent over? So I was like, at first I was like, ooh, Tom getting his hands dirty. But then I was like, wait, he not messy like that. This got Logan's name written all over it. And so he confirms that it was Logan who was getting back at Shiv because of the kids acquiring PGM. So like, baby, the gloves have come off. I'm totally here for it. I can't wait to see what other craziness when we do find out how far Shiv is willing to go just to get back at her dad for this. So we see that, Tom tries to deny it, and, she says, like, since you want to be a messenger for my daddy, tell him to F off and stay out of my business, okay? But I'm like, girl, do you really have business when you living off daddy's money? Y'all business is his business, okay? Just like his business, y'all business, because that's how y'all getting y'all money to do your future business. So I'm just, I hate to, don't shoot the messenger, but I'm just here to tell them what it is. So we see that Greg says, when he's trying to explain to Tom what's going on, he tells him, like, hey, he's been, like, walking around the floor with this slight intent to murder people. And then he was like, it feels like it's Jaws, but, like, if everybody was working for Jaws. Greg is just, like, just a little ball of sunshine. Just like the gift that keeps on giving with his one-liners. Shout out to the writers for always putting a smile on my face. And so we see this is when he meets with Tom and Sid, who later he tells Roman that he's going to get rid of. And basically, you know, he says that he's going to leave the decision to them on what they want to do with Carrie because, you know, it's their decision. You know, I don't want nothing to do with it. But you put your nose in it by even asking them if they saw her tape. And it's clear that you're trying to manipulate them into bringing Carrie on. I can't believe Logan looked at this audition tape and really was trying to fight for this girl. It must be really good. It must be really good, okay? Like, really, really good, all right? So Tom ends up making this speech. I don't know why Logan told them to put these boxes together and, like, to make a podium. Tom starts making this speech, and then when he said we had 15% up in demographic, and then when Logan, like, he made a face like, that's what you celebrating? I died. And when Logan started his speech, I was like, sir, you have to inspire your people. You have to win their hearts. This speech ain't winning no hearts. But then he got it together. He picked it up. And that's when I pretty much made the decision that he's actually trying to ramp up ATN to, like, you know, really make them profitable. You know, he talked about how, like, yeah, y'all had this 15% increase, but also, too, like, how you guys, like, your costs are up 40%. So, like, the math just isn't mathing for me. So, like, what's going on? He's sitting up here criticizing them, like, why are there so many pizza boxes? What is going on here? But when he told that man, when that man was sitting there typing this email, he was like, he's been sending an email for a whole hour. What is going on? And I was like, sometimes, Logan, depending on who you sending the email to, sometimes it just takes a lot, okay? It takes a little bit of time to send an email. Like, let him live. I be struggling too, because I be having to make sure I got my mind right, because some of these people be ready to just have me just risk it all and get fired for saying what I want to say, all right? Oh, sorry. I just had like a little PTSD real quick from work, but it's okay. We're back. We're here. We're thriving. Back to this review. So he ends up getting everyone riled up. Everybody's excited to work for ATN again, excited to be a respectable news company. So, you know, I guess everything is good as it can be. All right. So, so we see that Tom and Greg watched the tape, and just like everybody else has been laughing this entire time, like, you know, everybody's just been thinking that it's hilarious at how terrible she is with this tape. But Tom, because he's the coward that he is and cannot always have crucial conversations, he tells Greg to take on the task of telling Carrie, like, maybe this is not her calling, maybe this is not her ministry, okay? So he ends up having a conversation with Carrie. It does not go good. She's picking through everything that he's saying. She was like, okay, so it was a focus group, so who's part of this focus group? Like, what about my arms, okay? Like, what do you mean it's going to take a couple of years? Like, please explain this to me, because she was like, because if I find out that there was no focus group and you sit up here playing in my face like that, I'm going to dismember your entire body. That's what she said. It ain't what I said, but I think I would believe that she would do that to cousin Greg. So yeah. So let's talk about these raggedy kids, because the kids get on my nerves. If the kids have a soft spot for y'all, they do not have a soft spot for me. But I haven't heard someone say Dookie in a really long time. I don't know where Kendall be picking up this lingo, but him saying Dookie, I was just like, where'd you get that from? And then the fact that they were trying to come with ideas, you know, on how to, like, you know, handle PGM. And he talking about a 24-hour Africa channel focusing on different parts of the Sahara, and he asked his black assistant how she felt about that. And I was just like, I know you didn't ask her that. Like, I know you didn't ask her that. But this is when Shiv has to step out, and she finds all this stuff about, you know, time. And in the midst of all of this, then we see that Roman and Kendall are watching the audition tape, having a hilarious time. The assistant tried to tell them, like, bring y'all behind. Y'all supposed to go to the Connor's rehearsal for dinner. He's texting you, like, please get it together. So when they make it to the airport for the helicopter, they tell them, no, you can't get on the helicopter. So basically, they daddy blocked them from being able to use the helicopter. And this is what I be talking about. Like, y'all really be trying to stick it to your dad, but you live off your daddy to do everything that you do. Like, let's really think this through for a moment. That's why they really get on my nerves, because y'all try to act like y'all put y'all big boy and big girl panties on, but y'all can't do nothing without your daddy. You can't even make it to the city without using your daddy helicopter. And that's the part that always confuses me about them and why they feel like they really be getting over on somebody that they owe their whole lifestyle to. I just don't get it. It's giving you're in denial. It's giving stand up and be an adult. Okay? So so we see that Shiv, because she's upset about what her father has done by helping Tom kind of, basically conflict all of the top divorce attorneys out from helping her represent her in the divorce. Then essentially she decides that she gives Sandy a call, who's been trying to stop the sale from the beginning because they feel like they should get more money. So she talks to Sandy. She tells Sandy that she's going to talk to her siblings and basically try to get them on board with, saying no and killing this deal for right now. So as they have to take a regular car to get to Connor's rehearsal dinner, we see that Stu and Sandy are waiting outside and basically telling them what it is. And of course, Roman and Kendall are just like, yeah, we're just trying to get our billies. Like, ain't nobody trying to do this with you. We're not going to say no. So in the midst of all of this, they go to the dinner. They run into Willa, who just looks very frantic, like she's probably drunk or on something. And so she's being weird, kind of like giving us vibes like this wedding is going to happen. And so sorry to Willa for messing up her name. I don't know why I wanted to call that girl Willow last week. I'm sorry, Willa. So they go to talk to Connor, and Connor is basically like, basically we were doing a rehearsal dinner, and then she got up to do a speech, and she said, I can't do this, and then disappeared with her friends for 40 minutes. So I was just like, Connor, are you okay? Because you really said that, like, matter-of-factly, like, everything's going to be okay. But, baby, it don't sound like everything's going to be okay. Like, it don't. So Shiv is so disrespectful of the fact that she was trying to leave Connor after him telling all of this. And then when basically Roman made the comment, like, I'll pay for her, I was like, Roman, like, can you act like you care about your brother? This is why Connor felt the way that he felt and why he read them for filth at the end. It was so heartbreaking, but they needed it. They needed to hear all of this. So he basically says, can we go to a bar? I want to go to a regular bar, like not a fancy bar like what you guys go to. And then they get there, he walks in like, yes, America. Then they try to order drinks. They can't order no drinks because they used to drinking fancy drinks. Don't even know what to order at the bar. Connor's up here tracking this girl's phone, which I'm like, Connor, if you got to do all of this, then maybe y'all shouldn't be getting married. But we see that Madsen ends up giving Kendall a call, basically telling him like, look, ho, I heard y'all out here doing stuff that y'all not supposed to be doing. Stuff that's going to mess up this deal and mess up my coin and mess up my bag. So let me tell you something. You keep doing what you're doing, I'm finna walk away. Don't play me. Try me, okay? No, he said, don't try me, try the Lord. But that ain't what he said. That's just what I'm saying. But so we see that afterwards, this kind of gets Kendall thinking. He asks Stewie to like send over the comparisons. He takes us to Shiv and Roman. Roman's not having it. Kind of like, I thought y'all were supposed to be here for me. Now y'all talking about business. And essentially, they end up convincing Roman to say no to this deal because they could get more money. Connor ends up telling their daddy. And because, of course, he was upset, he's like, y'all, I just want my money. I don't care about none of this business stuff. Y'all don't even care about me. I just want to run for president, get my 1% vote, and I just want to get my money and ride off into the sunset with Willa. Like, ain't nobody trying to do all of this. So we see that Roman ends up getting a text message from Logan saying, I need to see you. So Shiv and Kendall like, hold on, ho, why he texting you? And then he's like, oh, well, I sent him a text message on his birthday. They was like, is that all? Like, we need to see your phone. So he saw they kind of been going back and forth a little bit after he texted them. So they were just like, yo, we don't trust you. But then they end up getting him to go in on the deal. And then Connor convinces them, like, can we go do karaoke, okay? So Logan tells him that he on his way. Connor started up here singing. he was up there saying, what was he singing? Famous Blue Raincoat. He's singing this song. Logan calls Roman to tell him he outside, come meet him at the car. She'll hang up the phone because she always messy and want to be petty. He comes inside. He tells him, hey, can we go somewhere else because the lights might cause me to have a seizure? She was like, I don't care, have a seizure. She didn't say that, but basically that's what she said. So then he sits down and he basically like tells them like, hey, what did he tell them? He tells them that he wanted them there for his party. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. He wanted them there for his party. And then Kendall's like, oh, snap. Like, did he just say a feeling? Because, like, they're just like, so now because you want this deal to go through, you finna come and now you want to be our father. Now you want to actually share feelings. And so then he was like, I'm sorry. And so they were like, you're sorry for what? He's like, well, I'm sorry for the helicopter. They're like, bruh, the helicopter that you just did, like, you're not going to talk about, you know, helping Tom, her soon-to-be ex-husband, find divorce attorneys. You're not going to talk about having Connor's mom, you know, hospitalized. You're going to talk about what he did to their mom. Like, there's just so many other things outside of the helicopter that I find a lot more pressing than you saying sorry for the helicopter. Like, Logan, even though I'll be on your side most of the time, like, sir, don't do that. So they end up getting into it, and Carrie's trying to run interference and say, hey, like, he wants to talk about the personal stuff before business instead of always talking about business. And then they roasted Carrie for her life. Like, Carrie, like, don't you need, basically they alluded, they seen the tape, that she's terrible. And they were like, oh, you're not going to be on ATN? Like, oh my goodness. Like, Logan finally popped your betrayal cherry. Like, now you know what it feels like to be betrayed by someone who always promised you the world and just basically betrays you. So I think she took that to heart because she saw that she had a little stank ass attitude on her face when they were walking out. So I think that definitely got to her. But then Logan's telling them, like, y'all, you don't understand. If y'all do this, Mattson is going to walk. Which I didn't understand why Kendall didn't tell them about the call, because she should have co-signed that, like, well, actually, I got a call saying that this is what happened. So I don't know what the hell is going on, okay? So they're being so ridiculous, and you could tell that Roman's annoyed with Shiv and Kendall, because Logan basically calls them dopes, and then he was just like, y'all aren't serious people. And I was like, thank you, Logan. That's actually you being a father, telling your kids what it is. Like, y'all can't be serious. Like, you would rather ruin this deal than get the billions that you're already promised over some extra money. Like, you're literally gonna be billionaires. You're literally gonna acquire this other brand, go into competition. Like, y'all can't be serious. This is not even something that y'all built, and you doing all of this? Like, what? Like, you wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for me. So, like, I actually agree with Logan on this. And so when he said that, they kind of looked at him like, and I was like, thank you. Thank you. So he ends up leaving. So after he leaves, he ends up telling Carrie, who's still visibly upset, he basically says, hey, I need to meet with Mattson tomorrow, which is the day of Connor's wedding, so clearly none of them is going to his wedding at this point. So he's like, I need to meet with Mattson, and I need all these people here, but not Jerry. And I'm like, so why Jerry get into business when Hugo was laughing? I don't know, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. So we see that Connor ends up telling him, like, you know, he basically like, I'm leaving. Like, y'all don't care anyway. Like, let me just go ahead and go. Because he's upset because he just wanted his money. And so he's basically telling him, like, I'll be fine about the whole thing with Willa. Like, if she leaves, like, I'll get over it. Like, if she stays, okay, fine. But I'm used to he was like, the good thing about having a family that doesn't love you is you learn to live without it, which was so heartbreaking because he said it so matter of fact, kind of how he said Willa saying she can't do this, that it broke my heart when he said it. And so even Shiv was like, Connor, and he was like, no, he was like, y'all are crazy. Like, y'all need and want and lust for his attention and his love. Like, I've never gotten that. And he was like, and that's y'all kryptonite. He's like, that's what makes me strong. I don't need this. I don't need nobody's love because I've been used to having the people that I love the most not love me back. So you guys figure out what y'all need to do, but it's clear that you need and want him to need you. You want him to love you. And so I love how afterwards when he leaves, you know, we see that when he goes home, Willa's in the bed already waiting on him to come home. We kind of see that Shiv looks like she has a moment where she wants to call time. I don't know if she does or if she doesn't. And then we see that Roman ends up going to see his dad. And Roman has always been the most conflicted about wanting his father's love, like actually wanting to spend time and be with his father, even though Shiv and Kendall are the most affected by it. But he goes to see him. And then basically he ends up telling him that, you know, he wants him to come with him to meet Mattson. And he's like, what about Connor's wedding? And he's like, And I just like, see, this is exactly what Connor was talking about. But he tells him that he's reinventing ATN. He's going to get rid of Sid. And then basically he needs a ruthless person to do whatever it takes, which basically do whatever Logan tells him to do. And then he says that, you know, you're not Pierce, and smart people know who they are. And then he tells him that he needs him. He's like, I need you there. And then that's exactly what Connor was talking about. So, of course, this is going to cause some friction. Roman's going to leave the whole thing between Shiv and Kendall. I'm not sure if that is enough votes to, like, push this through or not. I don't really know if they're still at a stalemate because Roman's going to side with his dad now. So I don't know what's going to come of that. I really like this episode because I think we're finally getting into the core issue of them actually talking through feelings or attempting to talk through feelings, whether it was a ploy by Logan in order to get this deal to go through, his last-ditch effort to get the kids to sign on, to say yes to the deal so they can go ahead and close it. He can move on to ATN. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm happy that it didn't go as planned, but I hope that we get more of this actually talking about our feelings because we're in the series, like the final season of the series, and I feel like we need to have more movement. It can't just be the back and forth between him and the kids. Like, we kind of have to start getting to some type of resolutions, whether that's reconciling with the past of the traumas that he's inflicting upon his kids, or the kids actually having to come to grips that you just need to be an adult at this point. Like, you guys are behaving like children, and this is why he treats you that way. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see where this is going, but this is only the second episode. I'm happy. Like, I think we're in a good place still. Let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you want the sale to go through? Do you not want the sale to go through? Do you just want to see what Mattson does, like when he's ready to bring the nukes out like he said? Also, too, Greg and Tom are going to hell for saying that this is very hard, like Israel and Palestine, but harder and more important. You're going to hell for that comment, all right? But those are my thoughts on Succession Season 4, Episode 2, Rehearsal. As always, my name is Sharona from payorwait. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again,